Sometimes life writes stories that no one could ever predict. This is the story of a man who thought he could humiliate the woman who once loved him, the woman he left behind when she had nothing. But when he tried to shame her in front of his wealthy new bride and their guests, he never expected the twist that kindness and fate had in store. What happened that day shocked everyone in the room, and it will remind you just how powerful love, dignity, and compassion can be. Channel reminder before we begin, welcome to Ripple of Love. If you believe in the power of kindness, healing, and true stories that inspire, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your voices and your stories of hope. Of the story, Sophia never thought her life would turn out this way. At once, she had been deeply in love with Daniel. He was charming, ambitious, and seemed to promise her the world. They married young, with nothing but dreams in their pockets, but marriage isn't always about big dreams. Sometimes, it's about surviving the small, grinding challenges of daily life. And that was where Daniel began to change. When Sophia got pregnant, she thought it would bring them closer. Instead, the pressure of responsibility pushed Daniel away. Bills piled up, his patience wore thin, and instead of being her partner, he became a stranger at her side. By the time Sophia gave birth to 3 tiny babies, yes, triplets, Daniel had already checked out. He left their little apartment one night and never came back. His excuse was that he couldn't handle the stress. Sophia was crushed. Alone, with 3 newborns, she faced a future she could barely imagine. No steady income. No help. Just her and those fragile lives depending on her for everything. At first, she stumbled. Nights were endless with crying babies, and days blurred into exhaustion. But little by little, Sophia found strength inside herself. She took small jobs, leaned on kind neighbors, and never stopped believing that her children deserved love and dignity, even if she had to give up everything to provide it. Meanwhile, Daniel moved on. He climbed the corporate ladder, found himself a wealthy girlfriend, and stepped into a world of luxury and success. Whenever Sophia saw him from afar, she barely recognized the man who had once sworn to love her forever. Years passed. The triplets grew into bright, joyful kids, each with their own spark. They didn't have fancy clothes or the latest gadgets, but they had something richer, a mother who taught them the value of kindness, resilience, and gratitude. Sophia often reminded them money can buy you many things, but it can't buy you a kind heart. Always choose kindness, no matter what. And her words stuck. One day, an invitation arrived in the mail. It was gilded and expensive looking. Sophia almost laughed when she read it. It was Daniel's wedding. Why would he send her this? After everything he'd done, at first, she considered throwing it in the trash. But then she read the small handwritten note inside. I'd love for you to come. It will be good for you to see what real success looks like. Her hands shook as she read the words. The cruelty was obvious. Daniel wasn't inviting her out of kindness. He wanted to parade his wealth, his new life, and shame her in front of everyone. Sophia wept that night, but not for long. She looked at her children, now lively, sweet teenagers, and felt a fire burn inside her. She realized she had nothing to be ashamed of. She had raised 3 kind, brilliant kids all on her own. And that was a kind of wealth Daniel could never measure. So, she decided she would go. But not as a victim. On the day of the wedding, a sleek black limousine pulled up in front of the church. Guests turned their heads, whispering as the door opened. Out stepped Sophia, radiant in a simple but elegant dress, her head held high. Behind her came her 3 children, dressed in their best, their smiles lighting up the gray afternoon. Daniel's jaw dropped the moment he saw them. He had expected a tired, broken woman arriving alone. Instead, here she was, glowing with pride, her children a living testimony of the love and resilience he had abandoned. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Who are they? Those must be her kids. Triplets? She raised them alone? The new bride, in her glittering gown, forced to smile but couldn't hide the flicker of insecurity in her eyes. Daniel had told her his ex-wife was pathetic, clingy, and a burden. Yet the woman standing before her was anything but pathetic. She was dignified, confident, and deeply loved by the 3 young people at her side. The ceremony went on, but something had shifted. Every time Daniel looked at Sophia, he felt a sting of regret he couldn't shake. She hadn't needed wealth or power to command respect, her kindness and perseverance had done that for her. During the reception, one of the triplets, a boy named Ethan, approached Daniel. With the innocence only a child could carry, he said, "Dad, we just wanted to wish you happiness. Mom taught us that kindness is the best gift we can give, even when people hurt us." Daniel's throat tightened. He didn't know how to respond. He had spent years trying to bury his past, yet here was his son, offering him forgiveness he hadn't earned. For the rest of the evening, Sophia mingled with Grace, chatting kindly with guests who were curious about her story. She never once spoke ill of Daniel, though she could have. Instead, she smiled, told stories about her children, and left everyone quietly admiring her strength. When the night ended, the limo returned. Sophia and her triplets stepped inside, laughter filling the air as they drove away. And though Daniel had the mansion, the career, and the new bride, it was Sophia who left with something far richer: the love of her children, the respect of strangers, and the unshakable dignity of a kind heart. Kindness doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, steady and strong, until it changes everything around it. Daniel thought wealth and power would humiliate his ex-wife. But Sophia proved that true richness is found in the love we give, the lives we touch, and the strength we build when life tests us. Her children grew up learning that kindness isn't weakness, it's power. And that day, their quiet forgiveness turned a moment of cruelty into a testimony of grace. So remember this: no matter how others treat you, never lose your kindness. It may not change them immediately, but it will protect your heart, inspire others, and ripple out into the world in ways you can't imagine. That's the power Sophia carried with her into that wedding, and the power you carry with you every single day. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs a reminder of how powerful kindness can be. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Ripple of Love for more stories that uplift, inspire, and remind us that kindness always wins in the end.